reference the recording. So thank you all so much for joining today. Good morning, afternoon, depending where you are. I know we've got some folks all over the place. We're really excited to be discussing fan journey orchestration with Dynamics 365 Marketing and Microsoft Teams with you all. So for those of you who I haven't met yet, my name is Emily Hallinan. I'm a business applications specialist here at Microsoft, focused on professional sports and entertainment. And I'm joined by some other key folks from our pro sports team, as well as EngageRM, one of our top Dynamics industry partners who we work closely with to support organizations across ticket sales, partnership, fan data platform or CDP, suites, events, marketing. And while half of the Engage team is actually based in Australia, they've graciously joined us very early in the morning, their time, to dive into marketing today. So really all things automation, being able to leverage the full Microsoft platform and native integrations, maximizing existing investments into tools like Microsoft Teams, and ultimately being able to move from more reactive email blasts to personalized end-to-end fan journey orchestration. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it to Jono. We'll get into the meat of the discussion, starting with walking you a little bit through a process similar to how we set up today's webinar.
Thanks, Emily. Morning, everyone, or afternoon, early afternoon. So yeah, look, as Emily said, what I'm probably most excited about is that everything I'm going to demonstrate today is from the Microsoft Marketing app, Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Customer Voice, and even Microsoft Power BI. So one single platform and the same customers, those same accounts and contacts that are in a Microsoft Dynamics 365 CRM deployment. So no duplication of that data, no complex integration or synchronization schedules, and no real points of failure from other systems. So look, one of the key use cases I want to talk about today, as Emily said, is managing your events with Microsoft Marketing and Teams. So today we'll look at events including Microsoft Teams webinars, which some of you may have used, and also Teams live events, but also more traditional conference style events as well. I want to take a quick scan as well of the marketing navigation menu for anyone that hasn't seen that yet. And I do want to unpack email marketing a fair bit today, well, a little bit, and show you some of the key features. I want to look at segmentation, and this is not just conventional demographic filtering, gender, country, do I have a mobile number, but also behavioral clauses that we can add to the segmentation. The customer journey is then sending that email to those segments or those audiences. And let's take a look what's possible as well along the way with marketing insights. So Emily did mention that we can see and learn and respond as well and react from some of the insights. A couple of other marketing features I want to look at are social posting and also surveys using Microsoft Customer Voice, as well as where to go for help. So like anything Microsoft, the community is enormous and the online resources as well are first class. So let's jump over to marketing. Yeah. And like I said, I'm going to come back through the menu, but I do want to jump straight over to the events module. Okay, I'll just zoom in slightly here. So look, I do want to look at a more traditional event that you might run at a hotel or a function center. So I'm going to come into this this top event, which is basically a sports camp. So look, in that general tab, we've got some of that really high level information about when the event's occurring and maybe where. You can see over on the right here, I'm going to come back to this streaming with Teams in a moment. If we look at the next tab, I just want to mention as well the agenda, and just also you can see here there's a button here where it allows registrants to create their own agenda. So where we've got, I'll just scroll down the bottom here of my screen. You can see what we've got here is a couple of different sessions. So we've got a welcome with Ned. We've got an afternoon session as well. We've got some tracks within the afternoon session. So this is where you know, that traditional conference might break out into different tracks and rooms, and registrants can actually build their own agenda as the day goes. So we've got speakers as well. We can manage our speakers and also manage our sponsors as well. So I'm just going to come to the next tab. I'm not going to go through them all, but I do want to open up the event URL that is built automatically through Microsoft Marketing. So you can see here we've got now you know, a good looking registration page, some details about the sessions. We can see who's the speaker for that session. You can see those different session tracks within the afternoon session, A/B testing and social marketing. We can see information about the different speakers. Neil's got the afternoon session, and we've got our sponsors here as well down the bottom. Look, I will click on register now just to complete that process. Just while that page is loading, I just want to mention as well, so you can see we're just capturing some details about the attendees. So then in Microsoft Marketing, again, we can easily see who's registering for that event. And the other thing I want to just mention too is if we look at room reservations, we can see which of the rooms at that venue we've booked out. So we've booked out the boardroom, we've booked out the conference rooms, even the dining area, very important. And also, if I look at the related items here, we can even see that we've got a hotel, and I'm just going to come into that hotel allocation. So we've booked 8 rooms at a hotel, rooms 201 to 208. And what we can see as well with the room reservations is we've got one of the guests, Ben here is maybe coming in from outside of our local area, and we've got a hotel reservation. So rather than looking at multiple systems and writing things in a notebook, we can actually capture a lot of the information about the event. So more so to a streaming example then. And by the way, where I've come now in marketing is actually into a dedicated events area. I'm just going to come back to this event now. Now this one here is what I would consider a similar to today, that streaming through Teams. So being able to use, you can see here over in the streaming provider, we can use Teams meetings, like a traditional meeting where people can come off mute and share their video, for example, like today. We can also use a Teams webinar. And in fact, I'll come back to that one. So Teams live event is essentially a pre-recorded event. Attendees can't share their video. They can only sort of interact through a Q&A panel. But the Teams webinar is a bit of a hybrid. It's the newest meeting type. As I said, it's a bit of a hybrid where you can start off in a live event style where people can't come off mute, can't share their video, but then they can be sort of let into the meeting for some of that interaction partway through the meeting. And so, look, the other thing I want to then, so again, all of that's built out of Microsoft Marketing. So, look, I do want to just jump over as well to Teams. You can see my calendar here. So I'm in Microsoft Teams. What I can do as well is I can schedule a traditional Teams meeting, live event or webinar. So I can do all of that similar behaviour through Teams itself. Now you can see our meeting here in my calendar. I've also got just another demo that I'm going to open up. And so this is an example of a Teams webinar through Teams. And what I want to show you as well is really easily we're able to build, just let this screen load as well. So we're able to build a sign-up page, and I'm just going to view this in the browser. Had a few of these screens sitting here for a while, waiting to be touched. So again, you can see we've got a sign-up page. We've got some information here. Hopefully, you can all understand Latin, but a really simple sign-up page and really quick to deploy. So some great options there in terms of you know, traditional event management through to you know, that streaming concept and being able to capture the detail. And what you can then do with that is use that in your customer journeys as well. And so, look, the value we get through Microsoft Marketing on top of Teams alone is, you know, powerful email design, segmenting journeys and surveys all on the one platform. So let's have a super quick look then at the marketing navigation. So I'm just going to switch again to this screen here, and you can see as well we've got the ability for, you know, from a telephony perspective, to actually use Teams within marketing as well. So, you know, great telephony option, which we could certainly talk about further. Going to close that panel. Okay, so look, the getting started page here is, you know, it does satisfy a lot of marketing activity. You know, creating emails, defining those audiences, and then connecting the two through a journey. We also have some of the traditional activities, such as tasks, appointments, and phone calls. And Microsoft Dynamics and Microsoft Outlook do integrate nicely to track email, appointments, and tasks. We've got our customers. So as I mentioned at the start, these accounts and contacts are those same accounts and contacts that are in your CRM. They're not duplicates or synchronized lists. Segments we'll touch on later, and subscriptions where your fans can manage their own email preferences. So marketing execution is your outbound emails and socials and customer journeys are the way that we manage delivery and automation. We did look at events already, and I did mention that there's just through the pane switcher here down the bottom, I did mention there's a whole events area within marketing as well, but we've had a good look at the events area so far. We can also manage our leads and set up scoring models to determine when they're purchasing ready. So look, we'd like to run more of these sessions as well, and hosting marketing forms and landing pages is the focus of this internet marketing section. In fact, the registration process for this webinar was let me just switch again, was a marketing form hosted in our EngageRM website. So these forms again have direct and immediate integration with our CRM to match contacts and to automate marketing segments and journeys. So this form here is built in Microsoft Marketing, hosted in our website. We fill in that detail, we're straight into the CRM, and we can be used immediately in segments and journeys. Sorry, I'll just catch up with my mouse here. So the content area, again, I don't want to spend a lot of time here. This is where we store our images and also a registry of, you know, a register of videos, and also content blocks, which are not entire email templates, but they do let you make larger reusable blocks. I love them. We'll explore these as well in a moment. And lastly, and what I love, literally everything you build can be saved and reused in the templates area. So also just very quickly down the bottom here, Microsoft own LinkedIn, and there's some other lead generation capability, which we'll look at another time. I want to come back to the marketing email area. As you'd expect, Microsoft Marketing has a comprehensive designer for building great looking, engaging emails. I'm just going to scroll back up my left-hand navigation here and come into marketing emails. I could build an email straight from my getting started pane, but I just want to look at one that I've built earlier. It's going to click into example newsletter. I'll just let that load. And so this shows you know, an example of what can be built and saved and reused. I can save this as a template. You can see really easily I can save that as a template, becomes a template that I can then reuse each week or fortnight or month to construct my main newsletter. I'll show you how we can build up the email, but for anyone that's used an email marketing tool, you know, you've got the concept of a toolbar on the right hand side and your main content panel in the middle of the page there. If I come back to marketing emails, I also want to just mention as well that if I want to create from scratch, again, with lots of things in Microsoft Marketing, when I click on the new button to create something from scratch, what I'm presented with each time is the list of templates that have either been, you know, shipped out of the box with Microsoft Marketing or ones that I've saved myself. So when we're creating emails or segments or customer journeys or forms, all of those can be accessed through this template when we create a new piece of content. I'm just going to close that down. I'm going to come back to my list of marketing emails, discard my changes there. Hopefully you can't hear my dog growling there. Look, I do want to show you content blocks. I'm just going to click into the content blocks example here. Now, what I've got here is just a really simple email. Again, hopefully you can all understand that. And what I want to do is add 2 content blocks to this email. So think about the situation where I've got my email ready to go. You know, Ned's on the call. He's just said to me, look, before you send this out, John, I want, you know, 2 other stories in the email. And I'm panicking, but I'm not, because I've got content blocks. So what I'm going to do is I've just clicked on content block, and the plus signs that appear are all the places I could drop these blocks. So I'm actually going to add 2 content blocks to this page and just show you how powerful these can be. So I've got a template that's got all of those you know, those sections in the email. But really quickly, what I can do is, as I said, if Ned's wanting me to add 2 more stories before we go to the market, I've got one here called right image, and then I've got another one which I'm going to add called, funnily enough, left image. But what that's done is it's brought not just you know, a piece of reusable or, you know, an element off the toolbar. It's brought so it's not one of these, you know, traditional elements which are just a single you know, either a text box or an image box. It's brought you know, an image placeholder. I've got you know, heading text. I've got body text or content or copy, and a button as well. So great way to you know, to quickly build up that, you know, that late story that gets brought across your desk. And again, then if you need to save that, you can easily hit save as well. Look, lastly, with the emails, I want to mention as well the dynamic content and personalization. This is probably, I'm just going to switch over to my list again. And let's click on dynamic content. So this is probably, as I said, a more complex example of dynamic content and personalization. There's some really basic stuff like, you know, dear first name. But from one email, I can also, you know, email a group of people at a segment. And based on where they live and which of my colleagues owns that record, I can present different content. So, for example, one of our contacts lives in Japan and is owned by my colleague Harry, and another one lives in the US and is owned by me. So what I've got here is one email with both pieces of that content. But then as we deliver those emails, I'm just going to bring up the 2 emails here. So what we've got here is, you know, Harry, or we've written to Vicky with Konnichiwa, and some information about Harry and Harry's picture. And I've written to Ned, who's in the US or in Australia. It's got my information here and my picture. So from one email template, we've been able to really easily give that personal touch. So, and this templated, this template can be used easily over and over to give that personal touch. Okay, I want to just talk about segmentation. Look, again, this is a very much expected component of a marketing tool. However, if we look at this this female fans example, and by the way, I love that we can estimate the size of this query here. So if I hit estimate size, it's going to tell me that in my database I've got 16 people who have a gender in the system as female, or their state or province is Cheshire. So we can see that we can reach 16 people there. But not only can I query traditional demographic data, I can also query related entities, which is really powerful. If I want to look at people that have bought a certain product. But also what I love is we can query live marketing interaction data, such as an email being clicked, a form being submitted, like the form example I showed you on our website, or even you can see here there's a lot of marketing interaction data here, or even if a customer voice survey has been submitted as well. So fantastic to to build up your segments using that behavioral data as well. And I love this operator of or, and also, and but not. So really a really powerful operator that can obviously define how that segment's going to run. And so, like many of the components of marketing, when I click on new, I'm presented with templates. I'm also able to save this as a template as well, which is fantastic. Again, with journeys, again, a very expected element from a marketing solution. So what we're talking about here is now taking one of those emails that I've built, taking one of those segments and combining those together in a journey. So I'm just going to click into journeys, and I've got one here as well. So demonstration of a Teams event. So again, like the webinar that we're on at the moment, what we're talking about here is event registration, and I've got some pre-built elements on my page, but you can see that it's really easily for me to, if someone's registered, what I can do is, add to the journey to send an email. So also what I'd love to show you with this journey, so you can see here we've got the event itself. So we've got what I would do at the start here is add my segment. So that would be my, my female fans or female members. We've got the event here. If they've registered, we can, take them down a path of did they attend, send them an email, a follow-up email to thank them for coming, get their feedback. If they didn't register, we can give them some time to do that. And you might even send them a follow-up email as well. So if I was to put in another shape there, I can easily build out that journey. Some great automation available within the journey builder. Excuse me. Look, just on journeys, in a future session, one thing I do want to show as well is this panel here on real-time marketing. I'm just going to switch over to real-time marketing. I want to look at a piece of it here. So being able, you can see, actually I'll just expand out my navigation bar on the left, not just the email channel, but also push notifications and text messages. So picture this, as well as, by the way, a lot of really exciting triggers, but picture Ned, Emily and I walking into a venue. It sounds like a bit of a joke there, doesn't it? But all of us walk in, we walk past a sensor that tracks that we've arrived at the venue. Ned responds really well to email. Emily responds really well to push notifications. Ned and I don't understand either of that technology at all, but I respond really well to SMS. So we all walk past the same sensor. We're all going through the same journey, but we're all receiving that offer for merch or food and beverage. We're all receiving that offer on a different channel. So it's really quite a fantastic area of marketing, and it's available just from a switch of the pane. Okay, I'm going to talk about a couple of other elements really quickly. Here. Okay, social posts. So another outbound, communication piece, like our marketing emails. So my social posts, that's just going to load. So what we've got here is a great way to draft and schedule your posting cadence. So look, I've got an example here of a LinkedIn post that is scheduled to go out tomorrow. You can see here I've built this up. Here's my preview. So it's got some body copy, some hashtags. It's got an image, and I've built that through Microsoft Marketing. And so what we can do, we can review that. We can create new social content as well. So if I click on new, I can actually look at my not just my LinkedIn, but I could get to Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and all of that then is plotted on that calendar. So a really great way to say, look, we're probably doing too much on on October 22. Let's spread some of those out, and we can schedule those posts as well. I'll just open that again, and you can see here that I can either post that immediately or reschedule that. So that it's currently scheduled, so I can move that schedule. So rather than being on the app and writing that live, and maybe you need some other content from a colleague and you're not able to to reach them, so then you're left there with that your screen there in draft. But look, if we build it in the marketing tool, more people in the business can see that. We can see when things are going to go live as well. Really great tool. The other thing I want to mention too is the probably not the final, close to the final element I want to show today, but it's customer voice. Now, if you've used Microsoft Forms or Forms Pro, you'll be very familiar with a lot of the features of Microsoft customer voice. It's had a rebranding. It's had a lot more features added to it as well. I'm just going to come into one of my projects here, and surprise, it's open straight onto my fan orchestration survey. So again, what I've been able to do here is add a background image really quickly. I'll just click on customization. So I've been able to upload an image here. I can change my theme and my fonts. I can also, some people like to have question numbers on their surveys, but you can take those off as well. You can shuffle the questions. So a lot of really great features here on the customization area. What I can also do, and in fact you can all do this, if you get your phone out and turn on your camera, and if I click on QR code, so if you point that at the screen right now, and I'll leave that up for a couple of seconds, that will open up. That's not that easy to see, but that's going to open up that live survey. We can add that into an email. We can put that in a venue as well if people need to scan that on the way out as well. So look, that is a bit of a it's a bit of a joke survey, or a dummy survey. But just one thing I do want to mention too, if I come back to my designer, the other powerful thing as well is we can combine the responses. And so, by the way, this survey tool now, again, data's coming straight into my CRM. So I can match my contacts. I can set up a very simple matching strategy around my contacts. But if I'm given, sorry, I'll just go preview, not the designer. But if I'm given, a 2 or a 1 or a 1 star, we can create in the customer service area of Microsoft Dynamics, we can create a case and then have a team, or we can do a few things. We can have an internal team look at that case and look at what's going on there. But we can also take that customer and that fan through an automated journey. So we can make them an offer, we can look at what are some of the things that have caused that that low score. So the other thing I want to mention too is if I look at the sorry, let me just find my example here. I just wanted to mention too. Let me find my screen. Yep. So no, not that one there. Actually, look, I will talk on this one because what I wanted to finish with then is some of the insights that we can gather as well. So here's an example. Actually, this is a real journey. It's for a webinar that we're running in about 5 hours time. So hopefully my voice holds up. But along the way through this journey, we've sent an email out, and what I can do is I can see some of the details around that, some of the insights around that journey. So you can see, what's been sent and opens and clicks, and click-through rate of 25 is actually pretty good. So you can also see then, I won't click on delivery because it's going to show some real email addresses. I don't want to bring that up on the recording, but this is fantastic. Open time. So when are people opening? So as you might expect, 10 a.m, 11 a.m. on Wednesday. So you can see when people are interacting. So then you can start to schedule when times of the day that you're going to invite people to things. It's a really good way to discover that information and make late in the day, that's not when people want to receive an invite to certain things. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of insights is, and I'm pretty sure it's over here. No, it's not in that one. Let me find my my contact quickly. I might have closed her down, but that's okay. We can look at her. Let me just go to contacts. So this is no, that's not my right one. I want to go to Sports RM. Here it is. Okay, so this is a dummy contact in our environment. But if I look down the timeline, what you can see here is a customer voice survey response. So what I wanted to mention with this was from that customer voice survey that's been filled in by Janetta. That's come into the timeline. That's where we can then build. We can do a number of things. We can, in our journey builder, we can, if I come back to my journey, what you can do, and if I go to my segments, in fact, let's just go to my female fans example again. Remember, in the segment, I can respond based on a customer voice survey being submitted. So that can trigger a segment, which can trigger a journey. We can also build a case in the customer service area of dynamics from that customer journey, or sorry, from that customer voice survey. Look, the last thing I want to just show in terms of insights as well is, let me just find. Sorry, let me find my page here. Here it is. So look, this is Power BI. This is a marketing dashboard that we've built, so we can change the filter by date. We can see as well. Oh, that's timed out now. That was terrible timing. Look, you did see that dashboard just before I switched over to that. Then that was disappointing. But we're able to see. At a glance across multiple emails, not by coming into a specific email in a journey and seeing the the click-through rates and the open rates, but we can gather all of that from a nice high-level view across all of the data. So look, I went through a lot of content there. What I just want to come back to then is quite a few old tabs away here. Let's just recap what we looked at. So we looked at events. We looked at Teams webinars and live events from within Microsoft Marketing, but also from from Microsoft Teams as well. And we looked at that traditional conference style event as well. We had a quick look at the navigation. You can see there's a lot in the Microsoft Marketing product or app. We looked at emails as well, and the email builder and content blocks, and being able to save those email templates as well for future use. We touched on segments. You know, if you can query, you know, your database through you know, advanced find or filtering, you know, you can have a lot of fun in the segments area. But again, that really, because we're looking through the same Microsoft product, it's our Microsoft CRM database, it's our Microsoft Marketing. We can respond really quickly in our journeys as well through when someone clicks on an email or opens an email or visits a form but doesn't submit. So we can test for all of that as well. We did look at customer journeys. I did mention the real-time marketing as well, which was the that screen where we looked at the different channels and you know, some fantastic triggers as well within that that real-time marketing space. As well, the way that I respond through journeys over time, that builds up in my you know, in the AI engine and the machine learning. So it knows that don't bother sending Jonathan an email because he's going to respond best on SMS. So, you know, some fantastic journey orchestration there. We did look at social posting as well as another means for getting content out to your fans. And then after the event, or, you know, really at any time during the event or leading up to the event, we've got the ability to run surveys and gather data and fuel the segments and the next journey as well. Just in terms, what I didn't mention was online resources, just the online user guide for the Dynamics marketing. You know, I love it. My colleagues on the call that work in marketing as well, we love this this online user guide. You know, we've got you know, on some of the pages you've got videos and you've got great screenshots and good descriptions of the you know, of what you're trying to achieve. So look, with that, what I'm going to do is, Emily, I might come back to you just for perhaps, you know, running the Q&A and also talking about some of the next steps as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much. Really appreciated that, Jonathan. So really wanted to take this time just as an open Q&A session. Anyone, you know, is welcome to come off mute or type questions into the chat. I know I actually have a question myself, so I was actually going to ask Alan, who is my modern workplace customer success manager, or who I work with, specific to the Teams integration, because, you know, we're seeing Dynamics for Marketing and Microsoft Teams becoming more and more integrated, and being able to just spin up a webinar or a live event right from Dynamics or right from Teams, and then just be able to kind of track after the fact. So was wondering from your perspective, like, what kind of usage, I guess, of Teams are you seeing specifically in pro sports and entertainment organizations?
Yep. So, I mean, we're really seeing a lot of different use cases. I mean, just for live events and just for, you know, leveraging for Teams webinars. You know, we have public facing events like this. Imagine engaging your season ticket holders, things along those lines, you know, probably be incredibly useful. One thing we tried doing with one of our sports teams early in kind of quarantine was something very similar where, you know, we had like an intranet SharePoint site that was guest accessible. We invited them to some internal sessions where they spoke with a pro or some, you know, a legend, brought them in to kind of talk with them through a webinar. So that was kind of a couple of the use cases that we've seen work really well. You know, kind of just engaging, you know, external, but then also, you know, you could potentially use these for internal conferences as well, right? I mean, you just want to just get some really good usage and just tracking people attending some of these events. So, yeah, that's just a couple of them as well, you know, that I've seen work. But I'm more than happy to kind of answer any other questions, you know, not even just about live events, Teams, meetings, you know, anything along those lines. lines as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Alan. Looks like we got a question from Ned, Jono, for you, asking how you can talk about how teams are using this in Australia and US, where the best results are coming from.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, and you've got to reread the question, because you've got the concept of teams, sporting teams, in a webinar about Microsoft Teams. So I've got to read it a couple of times here. So how teams, yeah, look, what we found is, obviously, the pandemic changed the way, for a lot of our sporting teams would run a match day function. So what would normally be, an in-person event with, tables and chairs and a speaker and lots of glasses clinking against each other, has become, a number of attendees being at their home office. And yeah, thanks, Ned. Sports teams. Yep. So what we've had to do is change that fan experience, and a great way to get still that inner sanctum experience is through technology, and webinars have been a big piece of that. Surveys as well. So being able to survey the attendees of an exclusive inner sanctum experience, and still run some of those competitions that you might still run at a traditional function. So yeah, look, the teams that we've had, they've been having great success with changing the way they interact with their fans, because they're in different parts of the world, and through different times through the pandemic, there's been no crowds or limited crowds. So technology's become a big part in keeping the fans still feeling as though they're part of the team.
Yeah, that's awesome. And Jono, I know it's something that you went through earlier at various points, but was wondering if you could just kind of double down on that kind of workflow that you guys went through on the EngageRM side to actually set up today's event, and how you were able to do that in marketing.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. Look, this is let me just go back to. Do you want me to share my screen, Emily? I can certainly go through some of that, and I might get Harry as well, even just to comment and make sure I'm looking at the right components here. So I'm just going to come into, excuse me, this area here. So there's a couple of components, and what I do love is that when we've got a registration form that we want to. So I mean, I did show that registration form with within Teams and also within Microsoft Marketing. Really quick and easy to deploy. But one of the other things that organisations often want to do, and we're no different, is we want to drive customers to our website. This very simple form here that you can see on the page, it describes the event that we've got, and we deploy these for all of the webinars that we run. We're capturing some very basic detail that we can then use back in our CRM to match the contact. So if I'll just fill it in. If I'm putting in my details here. For the text box, but that's okay. Need a short email address. I'll be there. And so now that page has been sitting there for a while. Oh, that's good. So that's a good thing. That didn't time out. That has been sitting there for a while, not doing anything. But so what we've got there is a couple of things that have occurred, and I'll probably actually go through. Let me just have a look here. I should get that email. I'll just wait for that. But and look, I'm probably already registered, so I might not get it again. But the great thing there, then, Emily, is that can go, straight into our system. So, that form, by the way, if I just come over to marketing forms, we didn't really touch on internet marketing. Being able to build, forms and also subscription pages where I can then manage my preferences. But if I have a look here, Microsoft Webinar. Okay, so this is the form. Now the form looks fairly dry, and we don't put a lot of effort into the design of that inside Microsoft Marketing, because our hosting website manages the style. So the hosting website, and you can see here we've got form hosting. Again, getting a little bit. Let's just come into this page here. Getting a little bit not technical, but what we do is basically pick up that script from Microsoft Marketing, drop it into our web page, and we can then capture responses to that webinar. So that might be the email. Yeah, so here we go. I'll just open up my screen here. Oh, excuse me. So by registering, what I've now received is an email. Now, when the webinar is ready to go, that'll say join the webinar. I've also received a thanks for signing up, and this might be, let me just download the pictures on this one here. Yeah, so what this one then lets me do is add that to my calendar, which is super helpful. It's great to be invited to some to things, but if I can't put it in my calendar, I've got to remember that I signed up for something. That's not helpful. But through the customer journey, Harry's sent through this email. I can add that to my calendar, or if I just open it from if Emily sent me the email just before the event starting, I can actually just join the call as well. So but what we can see through through the journey, if I come back to my journey here, and I might just get might be this one here. Might not be that one. Post, that might be after. Yeah, so look, one of these journeys basically, I'll see if it might be this one, I'm not sure, but so what we've got is people that submitted the form and then sending them an email. So we've got all of that happening inside Microsoft Marketing. I haven't had to go to a form builder to deploy the form. I haven't had to go to a different tool to build my email and then run that through it. It's one contact into the system. And in fact, one of the things I was going to show was if I just go to my contact record, and in fact I wanted to do it in, let's go here. So this is my contact record, and what you can see here is the marketing insights, the marketing interactions that I've had as well. So what I've done is I've visited forms, I've clicked on emails, I've sent emails as well through the system. I've opened emails. Actually, these are delivered emails. These are emails that have been sent to me. Ones that I've clicked on, visits. So we can capture a lot of information, and again, it's all in my single CRM platform. So that was a bit of a haphazard description, Emily, of that process. But again, by deploying that form on our website, we can basically trigger the journey for whatever we need to do. And I think as well, Harry's probably got a post-event element to the journey as well. That's that's in play as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you for that. I mean, suffice it to say, there's so many things that you can do in the tool, but you're also able to use, as Jonna mentioned, you know, one tool to do everything, which can be really, really impactful, right? For marketing and sales folks alike. So unless there's any other questions, I think we'll kind of wrap up there. We'll share out the recording for anyone to rewatch or to share with colleagues who weren't able to join. And then we can follow up individually with folks who want to chat further, who might have specific questions that we didn't get to today, as well as review potential opportunities for Microsoft investment in your own marketing transformation journey. So thanks, everyone. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Emily.
Thanks so much, Emily. Thanks, Jono.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.